Hey dude, what you have today as a lunch?
A burger and coffee? Is it a weird combination?
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't do that. But anyway, is it good?
Yeah, I liked it.
So it's wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's talk food today.
Oh, okay,
What?
let's do it.
So food is the one of the basic elements of everyone's life.
Of course, everybody knows that.
Yeah, and there is infinite loop that goes in every human being or every being in the planet. So that is food, sex, and sleep. These are the elements of the infinite loop.
Mm.
If the food is not available,
Mm.
our primitive brain works. It looks for like food. It searches for it. If it is available, then it focuses on all other things.
Okay, you mean it's like sleep and sex? Other pleasurable things?
All other pleasurable things, anything.
Okay.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is no food, it's a famous saying, if there is no food, it's one problem.
Mm.
If there is food,
Mm.
you have a million number of problems.
Mm.
So basically it's saying that food is the key for all the life to start.
Mm.
So in a nutshell, you can say that if the food is not manageable in a proper way,
Mm-hmm.
it influences hugely to defeat the very purpose of life, which is the pursuit of happiness.
Okay. So, I just to understand how food influences the human psychology.
It definitely influences the human psychology. As we said, like if the food is not given to a person,
Mm-hmm.
he's a primitive brain look for the food. So
Okay.
that means that he is not in a sense in his own senses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that a person who is having a habituated from like having a coffee and like a breakfast or something like that in the morning times, if that is not given to him, then he cannot perform his duties in the morning time, and he look for the lunch time. So that's what the primitive brain is looking for, the another time point where the food is given to him.
Mm.
So other things, let's say that he's a doctor, so he don't perform his duties the highest level possible as a normal person, as a normal, for him it's a normal.
Mm-hmm.
So if the breakfast is not given to the doctor, the brain of the doctor is looking for the lunch times where the brain knows that the food is given at the lunch point.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a hugely influence in the a psyche of a person who is having this kind of a duty, and to anybody when it matters.
So you mean to say, like, to perform your duty, you need food, like of course everybody knows that
Yeah.
food is necessary for your physical functioning. That's like a fuel.
Yeah.
But is it influences the mental ability as well?
Yes, at the initial stages, it influences the mental abilities, but through practice, you can go to a certain state that where the mental ability is not touched by the food. For example, there are great sages like Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
He at the initial days he started to fasting and doing all these kind of experiments with the food. He want to break the connection between him and to the food. To the world actually, but the food is the bridge between him to the world. So because every being is looking for the food, so without that one it's impossible to survive.
Yeah,
So,
of course, like everybody works for food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the case of Buddha, the great sage, he couldn't able to break his that bond. Then he came to the conclusion that this bond cannot be broken. So that means that food is the basic element of all things for the life to start.
Okay. Then, like, if food is the basic element, like, if I eat more and more, will it give more and more happiness?
No, food has to take in a manageable levels, because food can influence you positively and also food can influence you negatively. For example, you need some kind of a calories. For example, if you are a male, you need 2,500 calories. If you are a female, you need 2,000 calories. And these calories is a basic, very basic calculation of the food. But of course, I mean, you need certain amount of calories. But if you are taking more than what is required for the body, and then you are this calorie of the food is storing in another direction, that is storing to some other forms like a protein, lipids, whatever. But that is not good for your body. If you are taking all the time food, then it's definitely you become like obese, and then one point of time you can't even move your leg. There is a TV show that's called 1000 lbs. It's a TLC. It's an American show. I mean, where you can see all the obese people who can't even. It's kind of morbidly obese. Morbidly obese means that if they can't go to the doctor, I mean, they may die with the obesity. So one should look for these episodes, how they live. This is basically they are addicted to the food.
Okay. But you said like, what's the positive influence? You somehow said about the negative influence. What is the positive influence? Like, if I got a happy news, like if I am celebrating my birthday,
exactly.
Everybody like the usual way is like to celebrate is like go to a restaurant and eat some food and something like that, right?
Exactly. So we need to understand the dopamine rewarding system. So here is the dopamine is like a neurotransmitter that happens in the brain. So if you are taking a food, these neurotransmitters works, and then dopamine releases, and then there is a mechanism. It's like a rewarding mechanism. I'm not going to details of that, the whole thing. But once you take food, then this dopamine rewarding mechanism is activates. So, for example, in one's case, that if one's got a happy news and they want to celebrate this happiness, either going by food or by wine or whatever, but this celebration, this food they are taking, that linked with the dopamine levels, and the dopamine is a pleasure chemical. So when the dopamine releases, you feel like a happiness. It's like a feel-good hormone.
Okay, you are saying like partying every day is not a good thing.
If you are doing a partying every day, the dopamine levels will be decreased. So that means that you will have a lesser happiness, because the brains tell you this is like a normal thing. So if it happens only Fridays, then you look for Friday. If it happens every day, so then that becomes normal to you. So then you become like a more addictive. So dopamine can also be addictive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the other extreme, let's go to the other end, like there is no food. I mean to say, like people try to practice fasting for 48 hours, 72 hours. Is it a good thing, or are we capable to do fasting?
I mean, as humans, we are definitely capable to have fasting, because through the evolution, we evolved like having no food, lack of food for longer times. So we still able to perform and do good when there is a practice. So fasting is a good, like 24 hours, maybe not 20, above 24 hours. For the 24 hours, the fasting is good. According to research, is also saying the same thing. But after that, it goes to a level that is detrimental to your body. So you have to have a food. But in the fasting, also like a negative and positive. For the positive side, you will get like autophagy. You have some other detoxification. Everything like a positive effects happens when you are doing a fasting for 24 hours. But above 24 hours, it goes to the, as I said, it goes to the negative way. So then your body cannot sustain, and you may break down. You may get heart attacks, and you may get a lot of other stuff that activates. So anything, I mean, like a fasting in this case has to have certain kind of a training. I mean, I know people who can able to fast for 72 hours, but they don't do it on a single encounter. They have to have a training for months, even for years. Then they reach a certain point of level that they can able to do perform well if they are not taking any food for 72 hours. So the practice is the key here.
Okay, so too much fasting is bad and too much food is bad. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, both extremes are really bad.
So, of course, people have a typical pattern to eat food. Like, usually, the most accepted way is that breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And depending on the regions, they add snacks in between these meals. And there are many kind of patterns. And of course, on top of that, somewhere I read that like people do one meal a day or like 16/8 fasting, these kind of stuff.
Even intermittent fasting, right?
Yes, yes. And so, according to your knowledge, is there any general recipe for to follow?
There is no general recipe for all.
Uh-huh.
There is no the general recipe for that works for all.
Okay.
I would say, because everybody is different. Every body is different.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone has their own unique lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So the food is definitely linked with their lifestyle.
Okay.
So for example, I do gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I do like 2-hour gym, like a very strenuous exercises, powerlifting, weightlifting, all this kind of stuff, then I need to have a more protein eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Then if my body is given more protein, then it starts to build the muscles, and that is the purpose of going to the gym actually.
Mm-hmm.
So if the extra protein is not given, then the body has to use the stored lipids, and then that converts to the protein. But that is that goes to a different kind of a biochemical pathway. So here, what we can say, the people who are doing strenuous exercises or who are doing all kind of sports, they need a certain kind of food where the more protein is needed. But the people who are not doing this kind of stuff, and they don't need extra protein. They need some kind of a carbohydrates, protein and lipids and fiber. These are a basic general recipe. I mean the portions of the general recipe. But it depends on the person. If for example, a teenage girl needs certain kind of food, a 40-year-old lady needs certain kind of food. I mean, as your aging, as your timing goes, then you need certain kind of food. So there is no that recipe that works for everybody. So one has to understand their lifestyle, and they have to eat. They have to take the food according to their lifestyle and what they want in their life. I mean the purpose.
One more question, so what do you say? People do enjoy some delicious food. So having delicious food every day, is it a good thing? Like something related to dopamine?
Having delicious food every day means that at one point of time, that delicious food is no more delicious.
Okay.
So that becomes like a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then your dopamine. I mean, let's say that I like a biryani, Hyderabadi dum biryani. I like it. So then whenever I go to Hyderabad, then I used to go to some restaurant where they can serve the delicious biryani, dum biryani. So that point of time, my dopamine levels are highest. If I'm having the same biryani for 10 days, then the 10th day my dopamine levels comes like at 20%, where the first day was 100%. So that means that it becomes normal to me, and then the brain doesn't register this is like a delicious food, though it is a delicious by nature.
Okay, so it will be a normal food to brain.
Exactly. The signal strength, you lose the signal strength by 80%. So that means that it is delicious, but only 20%, not like 100%. Yeah.
Okay, and of course we kind of established that food is necessary, and everybody knows that. But what happens if you have this kind of knowledge about food? What's the use of this?
You mean the application of food, right?
Yeah, application of this kind of discussion or knowledge about food.
Yeah, food is the like a big thing in everybody's life.
Okay.
And it's an inevitable thing. So For example, if a person starts his life like on a daily basis, he starts with the food. I mean, maybe like a breakfast, or if it is not breakfast, it's like a lunch. If it is not lunch, it starts with the dinner. Whatever it is, he cannot skip the day without having a food. So that is very important, right? And if you are not taking this food as as important thing, if you don't develop any knowledge around it, then unconsciously you go to this kind of a terminal illnesses, because food is directly related to the hormonal regulation. If the hormones are not managing properly in your system, then they go to a deregulation. Deregulation gives you like a terminal illnesses like diabetes or some other stuff like you have what is that? You take the tablets every day. So I mean, it's
Insulin.
Oh, insulin. No. It's a diabetes, and there is one more hormone also is there that you take a tablet every day. So it's basically it's a thyroxine. Sorry, thyroid disease. All these things. So the food is very important to understand all these things. So if you take care of your body and the food is the first step in this purpose. If your purpose is taking care of your body, and the body is definitely like a life purpose. Without body, you cannot enjoy the life. So the body is the key, and taking care of the body, the food is the main thing. And food is, you start with the food, and food is the stuff. And then if you don't understand that as a very important thing to look at it, then you will definitely have a terminal illnesses, and the terminal is managing by the doctor, like a hospital, and you need to take insulin every day. Instead of you're taking insulin, you should go for like a lifestyle change. You should include the more exercise in your daily stuff, and don't eat the simple carbohydrates. Go for the complex carbohydrates. All these things. I mean, you need to develop all this kind of knowledge around it. What are the food you want to eat? That I would say is the application of it. With proper management of food, you don't need to go to a doctor. And food can be taken as a source of your life.
Okay.
Food is not life. Food is a fuel for your purpose of your life. And food is not a purpose. I mean, some people, food is the purpose. They don't know how to enjoy life. So that's why they always resort to the food-related activities, food-related stuff. But food is not the purpose of life. Food is the fuel of for you to achieve the purpose of life.
So, having this knowledge, we can avoid the diseases, right?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, even centuries ago, where there is no hospitals, there is no doctors available. I mean, centuries back, there is no other. It's only food people manage, and they are able to live like 70s, 60s, 70s. And yeah, so the food is, if you manage one thing, that is food, then you don't need other things.
Okay. So what are the listening lines for this topic then?
I think we would conclude like. One has to understand food by self-driven knowledge according to their lifestyle.
Okay, of course, like if you are doing very hard work, if you are
like a strenuous exercises.
Not exactly. That depends on your profession.
Okay, yeah.
If you are doing some labor work or something like that, you have to have more nutritious food.
Yeah, I mean, according to your need.
Yeah.
You need to gather the knowledge about the food that you want to eat, basically. On your lifestyle.
Okay.
That has to link with your lifestyle. Yeah.
And you are saying that there is no the recipe for works for all.
Yes, there is no the recipe that works for all stuff, because everybody is unique and every lifestyle is unique. Yeah. So we can say on a conclusion level, food must support to the purpose of one's life.
Okay.
Yes, food directly influences the sexual abilities and the sleeping patterns of the people.
Okay. Yes. It's understandable. Yes. But how it influences the sleep?
it definitely influences sleep, and we will talk more about these things in our sleep episode, which is coming up. Wow.
Till then, plug in and enjoy.
Yes.